Hi, my name is Jen. Welcome to this month's episode on the Thun planting and sowing calendar. We're now in April. I hope you've all had a really nice long Easter weekend and have managed to turn the clock forward. Remember, when you're looking at the calendar, also add an hour to the times given if you're based in the UK. I'm based in Derbyshire and I manage the Weleda medicinal plant gardens. We've got 13 acres of certified biodynamic land, and we use the planting and sowing calendar quite a lot for finding the optimum times to plant, to sow, and to generally do activities in the garden. Now let's have a look at April. Now let's start with looking at the main solar and lunar events for April, because it's actually quite a full-on month when you look at the cosmos. You'll see on the 7th and the 8th of April there are a lot of symbols on that side here, and if you're ever unsure, you can find the explanation and the meaning on the very last page of the calendar. Now on the 8th of April, on the Monday, we actually got new moon. In this case it's a super moon because it also happens to be perigee, which means, if you've paid attention to the last videos, that the moon is closest to Earth in its orbit, which increases its intensity but also its potential. Now at the same time we've also got a solar eclipse. You can see the little sun symbol, that little smaller dark circle. Again, the explanation's on the back, but that's kind of how to read the calendar if you're interested in understanding the lunar and solar events that inform the calendar, in this case the blank or the unfavorable times. Now this solar eclipse is actually going to happening at 7:22 p.m. on the 8th of April, and they're pivot points, you know, they're really quite intense and special, so it might be interesting to pay attention to yourself but also to your garden and to your plants and see if you can make any interesting observations. Generally a time to sit back, relax, and not to do too much with your crops. This year April will also be the month where we'll pick our dandelions for the Dendelion 506 preparation. Not sure what it's like where you're based, but we're just about starting to see them emerge, and a good time to pick them is always during the morning. Ideally pick flower times, so that would be the yellow bars in the calendar. In April, for instance, you could do it on Friday on the 5th, or Saturday the 6th, or on the Sunday 14th, or Monday 15th. Just have a look and see what times fit best for you. If you can't make it on a flower day, a fruit day would be the next best option, so that would be the red bars. Now pick the flowers while the center of the flower is still tightly packed. You can see that the core is a bit more solid, they haven't quite fully opened. So when you then pick them, dry them, not in direct sunlight, put them on some paper, somewhere in a shed or in your house or flat or wherever you live, and dry them. Once they're dried, again not in direct sunlight, you can store them away for when you make the preps later on in the year. And of course, April is also usually the month where we dig up our preparations. Now at Weleda, we're going to do that on Thursday, the 18th of March, and it's a day where we invite the Midlands biodynamic community, but also people from further afield. If you're interested, it's an event for people to come together, talk biodynamics, dig up the horns, process them. We're going to make a stir. We'll also have compost heaps, a Q&A session. All are welcome. Just get in touch with myself, or Jess, she can get you in touch with myself as well. And it'd be great to see people who are interested in learning more about the preps. Maybe you've practiced biodynamics but you've never actually made them. That's the day to come and join. Next, let's look at when's a good time to spray the Biodynamic Horn Manure 500 preparation. Ideally, in terms of weather conditions, you like a bit of moisture in the air, a bit of warmth, slightly overcast day, ideal conditions. Then if you look at the calendar in the second half of April, about there, you can see that From the 21st Sunday until the 24th Wednesday, it's root times, and it's also northern transplanting time, so the descending moon. This would be an ideal time to do it. So if you stir your homonio preparation in the afternoon, anytime after 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock would be ideal for an hour, and then spray it out into your garden or onto your land. Yeah, if you can manage to do it on the root days in the afternoon during northern transplanting time, when there's a bit of moisture in the air, a bit of warmth, that would be fantastic. So let's maybe circle these days in the calendar and see if that works and how that goes. Last but not least, April, of course, is also one of the most important months in terms of sowing and getting your annuals and perennials started. Now, if you want to experiment with different times, it might be a good idea to look at page 66 and onwards. It's loads of crop tables that specifically tell you which crops are related to which days. So for instance, vegetables for root days, like your beets, your carrots, celeriac, garlic, horseradish, onions, etc. Leaf plants on leaf days, fruit plants on fruit days, etc. And I'd encourage you to experiment, because based on Maria Thun, she says, and her research of over 60 years, she figured out that these vegetables benefit from being tended to on their specific days. So that means anything from planting to hoeing to weeding, etc. Yeah, and just try that out and see what observations you make, because biodynamic gardening is all about connecting with your garden and with your plants. And part of the journey is after a while, after you've kind of got the hang of how it all works, to just try it out for yourself, because every place is different. Your soil is different, your climate is different, your aspect is different. So what works for us here in Derbyshire might not work for you in Scotland or in Devon, you know. So or wherever you are in the world. It's really important to understand your land and connect with it, with the tangible and also the intangible. And that's part of the journey, and that's the fun of it. So yeah, I hope you'll get some time to get out into the garden in April and enjoy it.